I'm not ashamed.
How did God provide water for the children of Israel in Rephidim? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Exodus on walking through the Bible.
His word, the glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Exodus chapter 17. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 7. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Exodus chapter 17, beginning at verse 1. Then all the congregation of the children of Israel set out on their journey from the wilderness of Sin, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped in Rephidim. But there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people contended with Moses and said, Give us water, that we may drink. So Moses said to them, Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people complained against Moses and said, Why is it that you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? So Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, What shall I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said to Moses, Go on before the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock in Horeb. And you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the contention of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, Is the Lord among us or not? In all of chapter 16, we had Israel in the wilderness of Sin complaining to Moses that they did not have any food. This is the second time since the crossing of the Red Sea that they complained to Moses. That despite God having liberated them from slavery and bringing them up out of Egypt across the Red Sea, far away from their Egyptian oppressors. God heard their complaint in the wilderness of Sin and sent them manna from heaven, as well as quail, so that they wouldn't be hungry. Here then, in chapter 17, we have the children of Israel emerging from the wilderness of Sin and camping at Rephidim. From Numbers 33, 12 to 14, we find that there is also two other stops on the map before reaching Rephidim, namely Dophkan and Alush. Why weren't these places mentioned, but Rephidim is? One could only assume that nothing of significance happened there, whereas in Rephidim, we not only have the events we read of today, but the events of the next episode to consider as well. While in Rephidim, it is said that there was no water there. Remembering back to chapter 15, when they came to Marah, there was bitter water there, yet the Lord provided them with sweet water to drink. In Elim, there were 12 wells of water to drink from. So clearly the Lord had provided them water when they needed it. Did Israel have faith the Lord would do the same for them here? No. The children of Israel contended with Moses, demanding that he give them water to drink. Moses said to them, Why do you contend with me, and why do you tempt or test the Lord? We'll later read of this event in Deuteronomy 6:16 with Moses giving this command, You shall not tempt the Lord your God as you tempted him in Massah. Jesus quoted this verse to the devil in Matthew 4, verse 7, when the devil told him to jump off the pinnacle of the temple to see if the angels would catch him. God has made many promises to us, but we are not to test him to see if he'll keep his promises. We're to have faith that he will and live our lives accordingly. Israel had seen time and time again that God would provide for them, yet they complained here yet a third time. They again accused Moses of bringing them out into the wilderness to die. It's no wonder that God will call them in Exodus 32:10 a stiff-necked or stubborn people. The situation was so bad that Moses feared that the people were about to stone him. God, ever true to his promises, told Moses that he would provide for Israel. Moses was to go before the people along with some of the elders of the people. He was to take his rod in his hand with which he struck the waters of the Nile River in chapter 7. God would stand before Moses at the rock in Horeb. No, God was not going to literally reveal himself in human form here in this passage. It simply means that God would be with Moses as he stood before the people, protecting Moses, guiding Moses, and providing the people with water. Moses was to take his rod and strike the rock in Horeb, and out would come water for the people to drink. Moses did so, and the people had water to drink. It should be noted here the rock is described to be in Horeb, but verse 6 doesn't say it was Mount Horeb, so we shouldn't assume this. We're in Rephidim here, but are very close to the wilderness of Sinai, where Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai is. So when this rock is referred to as the rock in Horeb, we're talking about the entire region, not Mount Horeb itself. Because the people contended with Moses and tested God, wondering if he was among them, Moses named this place Massah and Meribah. Massah means tempted, and Meribah means contention. So these were appropriate names for this place indeed. With that, our time is up for today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Exodus chapter 17, verses 8 to 16, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.